Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about something that affects all of us, these invisible forces in our environment that create some very, very real stress in our lives.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever just felt totally overwhelmed by the world around you? You know, the constant drone of traffic, being squished on a crowded train. Well, that feeling?
It actually has a name.
Yep, it's called environmental stress. It's basically what happens when our surroundings just demand too much from us, and it creates this real physical and mental strain. But to really get a handle on this, we've got to go way back to how we've always seen our relationship with the natural world. You see, our relationship with the environment, it hasn't always been the same. Not at all. It's gone through this massive transformation over time, and the way we see our place in the world, well, that directly shapes the stress we're all feeling today.
And this whole evolution is pretty fascinating when you think about it. I mean, we went from being terrified of nature, seeing it as some kind of supernatural force, to then believing that science and technology gave us total control to conquer it. But now we're finally starting to realize that the truth is a delicate, symbiotic balance. And, well, when we forget that balance, there are some serious consequences. Because breaking that delicate balance, that's what creates pollution. And pollution is a huge source of environmental stress that messes with our health in ways we often don't even realize.
So, what is pollution really? At its core, it's an unwelcome change to our environment, our air, our water, our land, and it's mostly caused by us, by human activity. So let's break down 3 of the biggest culprits, starting with the very air we breathe. I'm sure you've felt this firsthand if you've ever been in a big city. You know that burning feeling in your eyes or that little scratchy irritation in your throat? That's it. It's caused by all these excess gases and particles from traffic, from industry, and it creates a really serious imbalance in our air quality.
And trust me, the consequences go way beyond just a little irritation. The health impact is, well, it's staggering. Now, the exact numbers are always being researched and debated, but some major environmental health studies have suggested that a huge percentage of cancer cases could have links to environmental factors, and that includes air pollution.
And it doesn't even stop there. Oh no, the list of health problems is it's huge. We're talking everything from respiratory and heart problems to neurological issues, trouble with memory, and even damage to our sight and hearing. It's wild.
Okay, so it's not just the air we breathe. Our water is also under enormous stress. Think about all the untreated waste that flows from our homes, our factories, and our farms. Where does it all go? Well, it creates a direct public health crisis. Take India, for example. It's estimated that a whopping 1/5 of all communicable diseases there are water-related. We're talking hepatitis, intestinal worms. A huge amount of the country's surface and groundwater just isn't safe for people to drink directly.
All right, and the third big pollutant is one that we often just shrug off as a simple annoyance: noise. But noise pollution is so much more than that. It's literally any sound that's intense or unwanted enough to cause real physical and psychological discomfort.
I mean, think about it. Sure, constant noise can make you sleepless and irritable. We all know that. But here's where it gets really interesting. Studies show it can actually trigger aggression. And, get this, it can even make us less likely to help other people. When we're all on edge from noise, our ability to feel empathy and cooperate just kinda goes down. It really messes with the harmony of how we interact with each other.
So beyond the pollutants we can actually measure, environmental stress also comes from these huge social pressures like crowding, and of course the big one, the ever-present threat of a changing climate. Okay, on the topic of crowding, there's a really important difference we need to talk about: density versus crowding. They're not the same thing. See, density is just an objective number, how many people are in a certain space. But crowding, that's a feeling. It's that subjective, uncomfortable feeling of stress and losing control. Just think about a fun party with your friends versus being crammed onto a bus full of strangers. The density might be the same, but the feeling of stress, totally different.
And that feeling of being crowded, it has some very real effects on us. It's been linked to an increase in crimes like pickpocketing in super busy areas. It causes incredible stress in places like prisons, and it literally triggers a physical reaction in our bodies. We're talking higher blood pressure, faster heart rate. It can make us angry, aggressive, or it can make us just shut down and withdraw completely.
All right, now let's zoom way, way out to a stressor that affects the entire planet. And that is the gradual warming of our atmosphere, what we often call the greenhouse effect. This isn't a new problem, not by a long shot. It really started cranking up with the Industrial Revolution back in the 18th century. That's when gases like CO2 started trapping the sun's heat in our atmosphere. And today, we are definitely seeing the results. More extreme weather, rising sea levels, and if we stay on the path we're on now, projections show the average temperature could rise by about 3.5 degrees Fahrenheit by the year 2100.
So, wow, when you're faced with all these interconnected stressors, you've got pollution, you've got crowding, you've got a warming planet, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. It begs the question, where do we possibly go from here? What's the path forward?
Well, the guiding principle is this really powerful idea called sustainable development, and it's actually elegantly simple when you break it down. It just means we should live and develop in a way that meets our needs today without completely compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs tomorrow. It's all about finding that long-term balance.
And here's the thing, this isn't just a job for governments or big corporations. We all have a role to play. Simple, everyday actions, when we all do them together, can make a massive difference. You know, conserving water and electricity, using public transport, planting trees. Because if we're all part of the problem, that means we can all be part of the solution.
You know, there's this great story about the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. He was visiting a student's shop, and the student offered him anything he wanted. Plato just looked around at all the fancy, attractive items and said, "I don't see anything that I need here." What a powerful mindset, right?
And that really leaves us with a huge question to ask ourselves. In a world that's constantly telling us what we should want, what do we truly need? Because learning to tell the difference, that doesn't just reduce our own personal stress. It also helps heal the incredible environmental stress we're putting on our planet. So that's the final thought I'll leave you with. What's one want you could let go of today?